Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. My voice is still destroyed. It just ended a 7-hour stream, but I wanted to get back into the swing of things and talk to you all a bit tonight about Affliction, because Affliction, about a week or so ago, was buffed by 3%. Tonight, looking at Sims, Destro, Demo in comparison to AF, talking about logs, looking at logs where it's rising up, gaining value, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, hopefully answering the questions you might have about Affliction in its current form. Like always, we course add-ons and things, links down below to Twitch and Discord, but all for free for you guys. Social media links up here, like Twitter and Patreon if you want support there. With that being said, let's jump right on into it. Alrighty, so just getting right into it, like I said, the Warlock changes that hit on the 17th, this is the 16th, I guess, about a week or so ago. Big buff to AF, all ability damage increased by 3%. But I want to highlight this because Affliction was nerfed about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, whenever patch 10.0.5 hit. Partially due to it doing a lot of damage. I mean, Lock was doing a lot of damage in general, but that was sort of due to the Wrath of Minion Demonic Inspiration bugs that AF had. And AF might have been, maybe, it appeared AF was very strong, but there were also bugs with those two talents, plus Seed of Corruption being bugged, doing more damage to AoE, and a few other bugs that are fixed along the way for Demonology. Now, Affliction received nerfs. They nerfed Affliction by 2%, so a raw aura nerf of 2%. They also nerfed Dark Glare, basically reverting the buffs they gave to it 4 days ago, or I guess before then, in the patch. And they also nerfed Grimoire of Sacrifice. Now, Sack was nerfed for, I guess, AF and Destro technically, because they both played Sack. Destro doesn't play Sack anymore, AF still does, so AF caught strays from that. But I said to myself, I said in general that with the Wrath of Minion Demonic Inspiration bugs being fixed, Affliction likely didn't need the Aura nerf. It didn't need the Dark Glare nerf either because it hurt Malevolent Visionary, made it not the best option anymore. And it made it so that Sack was just a universal loss in every build of AF because you were playing Sack. The Sack nerf's okay, I guess-ish. I didn't really understand the wording behind it or the reasoning, but it is what it is. I did say, though, that AF's behind again, and it likely gets Aura buffed week 1 of the patch. Lo and behold, it's Aura buffed by 3% week 1 of the patch. So, getting into Sims and everything here, I'm going to compare my Sims with Destro, Demo, AF, and then we'll look at some more in-depth Affliction Sims, because AF honestly is rising a decent bit here, and then get into some logs as well. So, my baseline Demonology Sim, this is playing the Nether Portal, Imp Gang Boss, full Pit Lord build, all that kind of stuff, Expendables, and Torrent. We're not playing Fell Covenant and Sack Souls here. That build does sim like 2k-ish DPS higher, but it's not really played in a whole lot of settings. It's sort of a mix between this build and the Fell Covenant Sack Souls build. I'm sitting at 120, 780. My eye level is 439, I believe, roughly. I do not have Clash Trinket. I have a 437 Iridius Fragment. Could be a bit higher. Just hasn't dropped. It is what it is. I do not have Clash Trinket. We've seen 0 in the guild for both Warlocks. It's life. So Demonology 120, 780. Destruction being one of the highest simming specs in the game, I guess without PI and things, 122, 782. So roughly a 2000 DPS difference favoring Destruction. Same eye level, playing Iridius Fragment and playing Ominous Chromatic Essence. And then Affliction, 119, 960. So basically 120k. Affliction is sitting, rounding up here, basically 800 DPS lower than Demonology. Now, Demonology scales much better power infusion, better Clash Trinket scaling as well, which we'll look at in a minute here, but AF is not that far off. And the cool thing with Affliction, damage profiles. Big damage every 2 minutes, lesser damage every 25 to 30, depending on build you're playing. It is a relatively flat profile playing the Haunted Soul build. Now, Demonology was thought to be very, very good heading into Aberrus, looking at raid testing and things. And, well, it's been okay. It hasn't been as strong as we thought it would be. A lot of that is due to kill times, frequent random movement, Clash Trinket things, this and that. A handful of little things that sort of add up. But kill time, very important for Demonology. Having Portal at 0, 3, and 6. Look at Rashok last night, for example, the video I uploaded. We portaled on pull. We portaled again at 5:30, waiting for Potion. We only get 2 during the whole fight. If the fight went about a half minute longer, we get 3, but we don't. So Rashok, awkward. Magmarax, awkward, right? So Demonology with that huge burst profile, the huge burst of Portal, loses a lot of value on fights like that. With Affliction being roughly 800 DPS behind, without PI being mixed in, it's looking pretty decent. Now, moving on from there, so this is the Haunted Soul build of Affliction right here. Playing Haunt, full-on Haunted Soul, Vitality, and Haunted Soul right there. This is the Malevolent Visionary build. So it's sitting about 1,000 DPS behind the Haunted Soul build. Once again, This build used to be better when you were playing before the Dark Lair nerfs hit about a month and a half ago, roughly. Not too far behind. This build once again plays Malevolent Visionary, which gives Dark Lair much more damage. You play Soul Rot, you don't play Seize Vitality, you don't play Haunted Soul. This build's damage profile much spikier, bursting to 300k here on pull roughly. You can see Dark Lair about here. I guess Dark Lair being about, I guess right here-ish, roughly, give or take. Big peaks, larger valleys. This is the Haunted Soul build here, comparatively being lesser burst and a pretty flat line with the bigger Dark Lair around here, roughly, give or take. Actually, this is a bit later. Yeah, by the way, peaks and valleys, much more spikier, playing the Malevolent Visionary build, which in a lot of progression-based settings, having that more on-demand burst damage emphasis kind of profile like Malevolent Visionary brings is often more impactful, right? If they both do the same damage in the long run. Moving on from there, though, I wanted to look at things in more of a... so I was playing Iridius Fragment with every sim here for Affliction. I swapped it to Spoils of Notheris. I gained about, comparatively to here, 500 DPS, putting it, for me, within about 400 DPS of Demonology's baseline sim, playing Iridius Fragment and playing Chromatic Essence. Now, once again, Demo, much better PI, different damage profiles, all that kind of stuff, but, you know, still, with Spoils, gains a good bit of ground here. Still playing Haunted Soul over Visionary by about 1,000 DPS. Interestingly enough, though, if you factor in Clash Trinket into this with Spoils, Malevolent Visionary pulls ahead of Haunted Soul by about 1,000 DPS, almost the exact same, because of how strong the Clash Trinket is every 2 minutes with your Dark Lair, having that 7, 8, 9, 10 stack. Once again, a lower low end with Visionary, because, you know, Clash Trinket RNG, but a higher high end as well. Looking at the damage profiles here, look at the Visionary spikes. Huge damage here. 300 on pull, 250 here, 250 here. These are your Dark Lairs, the big Dark Lair spikes, right? Playing Clash Trinket. If you go to the Haunted Soul build, there will still be spikes. You're still playing Clash Trinket, but nowhere near as high, right? Pretty flat line here, some minor peaks and valleys. Dark Lair, roughly. But the Malevolent Visionary build being stronger overall, and having that more on-demand burst kind of profile, just with Clash Trinket, you know, looks better. Plus, you play Malevolent Visionary and Soul Rot, which feels better. Having that big 2-minute sync with Dark Lair, with Vile Taint, with Soul Rot, and that big minute, you know, Rapture window with Soul Rot and Vile Taint, whatever, what have you. So I took both these sims, and then I took Demonology with a 441 Iridius Fragment and a Clash Trinket, and ran one final sim. So Demonology with Iridius Fragment and Clash Trinket, 125, 125. Malevolent Visionary Spoils plus Clash Trinket, 121, 462, which is pretty close to where it was here, basically. And to a similar extent, Haunted Soul being here at 120, 568. So Affliction is not as strong as Demonology. There's no PI in this stuff here, but at the same time, Demo having these very strong damage, or very strong burst profiles on pull, bursting to 500,000 DPS, but then doing tank damage here, Tyranting here, getting some damage in, tank damage again, sub 50k, and then once again, massive burst here. Two very different damage profiles with Haunted Soul, AF versus Nether Portal Demo, but Visionary AF is sort of the middle ground. It has these peaks and valleys, not as high spike-wise with raw CDs, but nowhere near as low either when you're not in CDs, right? So, well, AF might not be as high on a fight that dies at, let's say, the 530 mark, like Magmarax, where you're only getting 2 Nether Portals, where the fight ends, let's say, roughly right about here, right about here, and then Demo's about to, well, I guess this is AF here, right about here, roughly, where Demo's going to Tyrant again here. You're not getting this. AF ends up gaining some ground there, because AF has CDs comparatively here, here, and here, and once again, the fight ends right about here. So you can see why varying damage profiles matter a whole lot. So AF, not as good as Demo, not as high simming as Destro, which is very immobile, Destro that is, but AF is still rising. A lot of fights this tier, Rashok, Magmarax, other fights in general as well. Heavy, random, frequent movement fights, and just fights for Demo's kill time. Once again, Rashok, Magmarax aren't the best. You're not getting 3 portals. You're getting 2 and almost getting a 3rd. So with that being said, let's look briefly at logs and I guess compare and contrast where AF is doing well. Logs. Now, I will say I looked very briefly on stream at these logs, but I did not dig into them at all. I saw a lot of Demo and Destro in the heroic ones, and a bit more AF in the mythic ones, but I want to go more in depth here and look at what's going on, kill times, all that, and just elaborate as to why AF's seeing more play. So heroic, we have all Warlock sort every spec here. Spoilers ahead, it's a wall of Demo and Destro playing Clash Trinkets and just fast kill times. I think there's an AF par somewhere in here, roughly. No AF, all Demo Destro stuff. There's one AF par, so I remember actually. It's rank 1. On Scale Commander, Sarkareth, getting 4 power infusions, but this build, Clash Trinket, and Iridius Fragment, interestingly enough, is also playing Malevolent Visionary. Now you're playing 1 point Malevolent Visionary and 1 point in Wrath of Consumption. Affliction could be sleeper strong on Sarkareth, whether you're playing Heroic or Mythic, because the adds in Phase 2 and Phase 3, you can get Wrath of Consumption value off them. Plus, you also have Clash Trinket here for more Dark Lair value. 4 PIs is going to help out a good bit. Look at the kill time here. 0, 3, 6, 9 is roughly when Demo can Nether Portal, barring a bit of, leeway with Tyranting and cooldowns and all that stuff. Once again, the fight dies within half a minute of Demo getting a portal again. But you want to have portal and then the Pit Lord afterwards, right? Which, once again, just a really awkward kill time. Demo can take advantage of the downstairs phase with haste buffs, but at the same time, if you're losing out on big CDs towards the end of the fight, it can be a bit awkward. Digging into the log here, I haven't looked at its uptime on buffs, but we can take a look. I want to see Wrath of Consumption. Wrath of Consumption, where does this be? Yeah, here we go. You can get a lot of Wrath value in Phase 2 and a little bit in Phase 3. But once again, when you're already playing 1 point Malevolent Visionary, being able to chain a large dot buff, basically from 230 to 530, is a pretty substantial DPS gain. AF, I think, is sleeper strong on Sarkareth. Even pre-buff, we saw this being played day 1, day 2 of the Race World first in splits. It's actually not bad in this fight at all. You can actually nuke ads into the ground if you come up from downstairs in Phase 2 with huge Vial Taint, Raptor spam, all that kind of stuff. If we go to damage breakdown here, Null Glimmer. Where are we at here for Null Glimmers? AF's not even as high as I thought it was actually, but the big thing here, you get both the damage on the ads, plus you get that Wrath Consumption value, chaining it later on in Phase 2. You can getting it once in Phase 3 for that extra dot damage on, once again, a pretty hectic, heavy movement-based fight where it's hard to min-max Demonology, Nether Portal value a bit at times, and also a very awkward kill time. Demo, once again, Portal 0, 3, 6, 9 with a bit of leeway there, maybe 0, 330, 630, 930. Affliction, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. 843 kill time. You're probably realistically a bit later, 20, 220, 420, whatever. But you're getting a Dark Lair, and the boss is dying, right? A much better kill time, a bit of Wrath value, very solid. I'm surprised to see not much AF on other bosses here, like Magmarax and Rashok, but it's also heroic. Bosses die in very little time. So Mythic is where it gets interesting, though. So once again, all Warlock sort here. Kazara, a lot of Demonology. Once again, Clash Trinket dominance, not surprising. Fight dies in 4.5 minutes. Didn't really see many Afflocks here at all. There's one here, getting 3 PIs, but if you're in a world where Demonology has a good kill time, which this is a pretty good kill time for Demo, you're getting Portal at about 330, and Clash Trinket and PI, Demo's going to beat you. That's how it is, right? But also that's the reason why Demo's not as good this tier. If it's a bad kill time, well, you have no damage. You're doing tank damage at that point, right? Amalgamation Chamber, Destro and Demo, not a whole lot there. Experiments, also a lot of Demo, or also a lot of Destro, I guess. Big cleave fight for Destro. Assault, Destro. These are mostly Destro Demo fights. This is how it's going to be. Damage profile is better, a bit more burstier, or sustaining, I guess, with Rain of Fire stuff. Rashok. There's an AF parse here. I played AF for 1 pull on Rashok in our mid-prog when I wasn't getting PI for a few pulls. It didn't feel that bad. Now, this is a 4 PI parse playing Clash Trinket and Neltharian's Call the Dominance. They are indeed not playing the Malevolent Visionary build, which this kill time, depending on when you Dark Lair, it probably goes 10 to 20-ish. It could either be a really good kill time or a really subpar kill time for AF, depending on how tight your Dark Lairs are. But at the same time, once again, having that flat damage profile where it spikes a bit with Dark Lair, but it's still sustaining 90k or 100k versus sustaining 40k like Demo, gives a pretty solid overall result on a fight like Rashok. Now, Demo is still good in this fight if you're getting Clash Trinket and PIs. Not a great kill time here, but honestly, Warlock is strong in this fight, but it's not as strong as we thought in this fight. It's not ahead by as much as we thought it would be just in general. We can pull up overall Rashok here. Let's see. Overall Rashok, all classes. There's a Demo lock, then a Holy DKs, Evokers, an Elisham, and another unholy or another demo lock here, not dominating like we thought it would. So Aff seeing some play here. Another parse down here at 23 with no PIs. Magni playing Chromatic Essence and Vessel, which is a very good Aff-based trinket. Not playing on Visionary build here because we don't have Clash Trinket on, but Aff rising slowly in certain areas here. Once again, demo with Clash Trinket and PI if it's a good kill time, which this is not, but I mean, you know, if it's a good kill time for Aff and not for demo, Aff is quite possibly the play. This is a very awkward kill time though. So, but still, either way, rising in patchwork fights. Zaskarn, interesting as well. We have an Aff parse here in a sea of Destro besides that. I believe this build is playing Soul Rot and yeah, a Soul Rot thing here. A lot for ad control, getting ID, ad, drain value. Interesting. Could be decent. Also a good Destro fight just in general for Prog. But Aff, once again, getting some value here. No power infusions, puts up a rank 6 overall at 111k in a sea of destruction besides that. Magmarax. This is interesting. So Magmarax was bugged during PTR testing. Demonology couldn't get, your Pit Lord wouldn't get stacks of Soul Glutton or whatever it is. It gives it more haste and all that kind of stuff, damage increase. That was fixed before the patch went live. Imp Gang Boss and Called Dreadstalkers is bugged on Magmarax. Imp Gang Boss was fixed a few days ago, I'm pretty sure. I read it in a patch note. I don't know if the dogs were fixed because dogs were doing like 60% of their damage, I believe, on Magmarax. My hunch or assumption is that this talent here is bugged, not giving you a third dog. It would make sense. Imp Gang Bosses don't spawn. Your Pit Lord wouldn't spawn with the buff. I am assuming third dog is not buff. We saw it during the Race World first. I saw it with Splat and THC. You weren't getting full value. It could be fixed, not really sure. Imp Gang Boss being fixed is nice. You can just play Fell Covenant Saxels here instead as well. But Magmarax, a lot of movement later on. At the same time, 540 kill time, not very good for Demonology. You're getting Portal at 0 and Portal at 3. You can hold till 5-minute mark if you want to hold Tyrant in an awkward way, but 530 is a very awkward kill time. On Rashok, I went Tyrant at, basically on pole, 140 without PI, 330 with PI, and then 530 again with PI. But if the fight dies at 530, you can't get second Portal with Potion, with PI and things. So once again, awkward kill time for Demo. Not terrible, but I mean, Demo 3 PIs, Clash Trinket, Radius Fragment. Aff here with 2 PIs, putting up a pretty solid parser as well with a 540 kill time. Once again, good kill time for Aff. Dark Lair at 10. Let's look at his Dark Lair timing here, right? So he Dark Lairs on pole. What build you're playing here as well? I believe this is Haunted Soul build. So he Dark Lairs on pole, obviously. Dark Lair kill timings. Can't read that. Now I can. Florida Man. So Dark Lair at 0, basically. Dark Lair at 213. And Dark Lair at 430. And the boss dies at 540. Not like a great kill time where the boss where you Dark Lair at 510, it dies at 520 or 530. But close enough, right? You're getting that third Dark Lair in, getting big value out, and the boss dies. You're not ramping to some huge portal and the boss dies instead, right? Aff being close in Sims once again. Playing normal Haunted Soul build here. This build also playing Clash Trinket things. Playing Malevolent Visionary. Vors, good job, big dog. Malevolent Visionary Soul Rot build here with Clash Trinket with spoils. No PI though, puts up 112k parts, which is not bad either. So Affliction, similar to last year on what bosses? On the Bird, Razagath, on even like Broodkeeper, on Diurna at times. There are these settings where you can get CD value. You can sort of cheese things for Wrath of Consumption. And or it just got buffed and it's better in general. It is slowly creeping up once again in the rankings of the raid. Is it better than Demo when you get good Demo timings? No. Is it better than Destro and Spread Cleave or Heavy AoE? No. But at the same time, it looks to be a decent option on these fights. And I am curious to see how Sarkareth goes. I think there's a good chance there's a mix of Demo and Aff on this fight a lot in progression, similar to how Razagath was. You can get good ad value in phase 2, some value in phase 3. A lot of movement in phase 3. Good haste amp usage in phase 3 as well. And depending on the kill times, if you're missing out on a portal again for Demonology, Aff could very easily be the play on Sarkareth. But I mean, TLDR, Aff is rising, and I'm pumped. It looks good. So thanks for watching, guys. That wraps it up. Hopefully it answers the questions you might have about Affliction, I guess the buffs that hit last week, and where it's performing in the raid, in sims and things. I apologize again for my voice being messed up. It is what it is. I tried to wait a few days to come back to stream, but it's not getting any better, and I gotta work. But I want to stream, having a good time with it and stuff. Plus, I mean, lock is changing. 10.1.5 PTR is already here. I haven't even covered the new lock pets yet. They look awesome, but I mean, hopefully the next few days. We're getting back into the swing of things, so... let me know what you guys think below of how AF's been the past week or so after the buffs. If you have any questions, put it on there as well. I will do my best to get back to you. Like always, week course, add-ons, and profiles, links down below to Twitch and Discord, but for free for you guys. At the same time, I want to give one huge shout out again to my patrons for in the video. You guys are all supporting on Patreon. Thank you a million times. I really appreciate it. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here as well as down below in the video description. Warlock might not be as good as we thought it would have been. I don't know how you word that. But now it's good as we thought heading into this tier, but we're still pretty decent. We're still a good PI target. Our clash rank is still very good. We weren't nerfed. That's the big thing. Kudos to Blizzard for legitimately like keeping a solid eye on Warlock stuff. People wanted Lock nerfed. They wanted Demo nerfed. They wanted Destro nerfed, and we haven't been. And has Demo and Destro been incredibly oppressive in the raid? No. If anything, it's an Evoker raid, or a Holy DK raid. I mean, Lock is good. We're up there, but I mean, probably around Mage. It's like DK, Evoker, Warlock, Mage, Shadow's very good as well. Even Warrior's not too bad, right? It's an interesting tier, but Lock's in a good spot. We'll see where it goes. 10.1.5 PTR is close, and I've got a lot of things coming up for that too. Got a pretty spicy feedback video coming up in the next phase as well, whenever my voice comes back. So Lock has been relatively fun so far in Dragonflight, but I want to make a big push for some changes in 10.15, or at least 10.2, because Lock is so close to being so much more exciting. So all that being said, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.